Alright everybody, this video is probably going to get, I'm not going to try and sound egotistical, but I assume this is going to get the attention of all Gmail users and possibly Rate of Fire M9 people. But let me first start off by saying, ever since the summer beta of Uncharted 3, I have used and what I believe to be mastered 3 different weapons. That would be the AK, M9, and the GMAL itself. So I've used 2 of the guns in question for being overpowered. So I'd like to think of this as the most, I guess, unbiased opinions on the Rate of Fire M9 and the GMAL debate. So it's not just a Rate of Fire M9 user hating on the GMAL or the GMAL user hating on the Rate of Fire M9. Although I do use the Rate of Fire M9 at this point because it's the only thing that I can use without stooping to a GMAL's level, which we'll get into later. So in this match, you will see myself being killed by a GMAL many times. But what I hate about it is it's such short distances I'm being shot at by a long-range, possibly mid-range gun, and at unbelievable angles. Which is why I have a problem with the GMAL in particular, but I do agree the Rate of Fire M9 is overpowered. But a nice analogy I like to use is if a GMAL can shoot someone at short distance and not have like a slightest bit of recoil or missing a bullet or two, that's like saying the Cal 7 has the sight and range of a sniper. Alright, let's start with the Rate of Fire M9. It's overpowered because it kills people too fast. The stopping power on the stopping power has been fixed in general, but it's still, with the Rate of Fire, it does impact you a bit. And I do believe that all Rate of Fire mods need to have greater recoil or just removed altogether. It just doesn't seem fair like that the AK can't have rapid fire, and I don't care if it's unrealistic or something. I'm talking about balance in this video. So if the AK can't have rapid fire, and I'm sure everyone would moan, but if the GMAL can't have rapid fire, then I don't think any thing should have rapid fire unless it has greater recoil. And as I said earlier, I only use this gun because it's the only gun I can use against heavy GMAL users without using a GMAL myself, which, as I mentioned before, I have and I mastered it. I just don't like using it now because it is pretty OP. Now, on to that GMAL. And people who are using the GMAL, please put your ego aside, please put your, I guess, bias aside, and just try to understand the logicality that I'm trying to present. We need to change the Rate of Fire or the recoil, because as I've said before, the GMAL's meant to be a I'd say far mid-range, long-range gun. And the fact that it can shoot almost exactly straight and without any recoil is, even when not aiming down the sights, is just absurd. It's just unimaginable. So we've got to change one of them, and a perfect example or thing to model it after would be Battlefield 3's semi-burst guns or semi-auto guns. Because it has the perfect example of recoil and the Rate of Fire. Although I do believe that the other guns are different than Uncharted 3 and they present a different challenge, but if we could do something like Battlefield 3, in my opinion, that would be great with recoil or Rate of Fire. I mentioned this before, but the GMAL can kill at any range, whether aiming down your sights or not, and that's just not acceptable because, again, it's a long-range weapon. It should not be able to, not necessarily kill at short range, but it should have a much harder time than just simply aiming and just shooting, because that's what it's like. And sometimes it even beats the Rate of Fire M9 in a short to mid-range combat, which, in my opinion, is really just absurd. I can't see why that would happen based on the logicality of things.
Heroes are exposed.
Now, for people who are saying about the GMAL that it can or should be close ranged, well, why does the gun itself have horrible blind fire? That's telling you it's not meant for close range combat. And this brings into my next point. If you get killed by a shotgun and you're using the GMAL in close range, that's not proof the GMAL isn't overpowered. That's proof that the GMAL shouldn't be able to kill in close range. That's what I'm trying to prove. And to conclude here, guys, again, I've used all weapons, I've mastered them all. I see things from a logical perspective and not just from a pride perspective, which I will talk about now. If you people, both GMAL users, or no, just completely scrap that. If all users who use OP tactics are saying, well, the majority of players are wanting this or this or this, that doesn't tell you that things should always remain the same. I mean, look at the history of online video games. Facts have shown, like, whether people are unskilled or not, they gravitate towards OP tactics. And off the top of my head, Resistance 2, the Wraith, the minigun with the shield, the Counter-Strike Magnum Sniper Rifle, and the USAS BF3, which is kind of fixed now, but those are just instances off the top of my head without even researching. So all in all, people, we need to stop complaining to keep our overpowered weapons because we feel, or we are only good with them and we don't want to learn something else because we got a good thing going, even if it's overpowered. I mean, what are we accomplishing if, in terms of overall skill, if you just use an OP weapon rather than just become a good all-around player? Because if you can use the GMAL, if you can use the rate of fire M9 in the same game with, you know, picking up, what's a good word? Picking up, I guess, the movements of people, then I can somewhat understand your situation, but not the people who just pick up GMAL and burst fire and carry it through even short-range maps. I cannot understand that. People should not be proud of overpowered tactics. We should just enjoy a game with as much neutrality as possible and then proud of being good. If you are proud of being good and you have like a awesome 5 KD in a game that clearly has overpowered tactics, you shouldn't be proud of that. You should be proud of a game that has as much neutrality as possible, and then I would say, yep, you are great at this game, you have every right to brag or be proud. So there it is, guys, my take on the whole GMAL and rate of fire M9 situation, or pretty much OP tactics in general. So again, people, put your egos aside, please, and look at things from a logical perspective. Thanks for watching.